All right, we have a lot to talk about in case you guys haven't noticed about the tweets and Facebook about the longer term, but we'll talk about today first to get that out of the way. Notice the flow. The low level jet has been tremendous today, pumping in a lot of moisture right into central Kentucky and a good soaking amount of rain. Notice, too, a lot of clouds. Don't bet on sunshine today. The first wave, I mean, that was a pretty intense little narrow band that passed through. It caused our main issues at rush hour. It's just more about the timing than it was the amount, which almost works the way it was snow. You can get 1 inch of snow at 6 a.m. and cause a nightmare. You get 1 inch of snow at, say, 9 p.m. at night, and no one hardly even notices sometimes. So it's all about timing with these kind of events, and timing was bad this morning. But we do have a dry slot working its way in. That's certainly some good news. Rain total so far, more than a half inch here in Louisville, an inch in Bullitt County, an inch very common in our southern counties, and even Evansville, not far from 2 inches, in fact, was their total, about 1.86, I believe. So some spots got some decent rain totals out of this because that training effect, lighter amounts in Indiana. Now, the low itself is to our west. That's the dry slots. The rain's about to shut off, at least become very spotty, if not in drizzle, for at least a couple of hours. But then we got still the backside. So these rain bands will enhance again later today. And the winds are shifting around, so that means cooler air. You see the blues sneaking in underneath that low. Yeah, we're going to see falling temperatures after lunch today. So we'll hold steady for a few more hours, then that's it. Then we begin our drop. Nothing dramatic. All right, it's not going to drop to like freezing, but it will feel a lot cooler later today. Here's the RPM. Here's what the current radar looks like. Here's the RPM says. Very close. Overall, the high-res models have done really good this morning. You'll see how there's a few little spokes of rain passing through. We'll have the dry slot coming in toward midday. Here comes the spoke in the afternoon with falling temperatures. The winds will pick up as well. We have another spoke that will arrive later on tonight around midnight to 2 a.m., mainly for Indiana. I have another wave of showers possible, and then yet another one that will rotate in here during the day tomorrow, mostly north. But our southern counties, you may get a few hints of sun the next couple of days, but mainly along and north of the parkways, I think it's going to be mainly cloudy and chilly. Temperatures will be in the 50s. The wind will make it feel like 40s the entire time in the afternoon, so welcome to fall. It's going to certainly feel like late fall coming our way. Once we head beyond that, the moisture begins to move out. We're seeing signs of some sunshine increasing for Wednesday, and the model stops here at 11 o'clock, but I think as we head towards sunrise, it may have some patchy frost. Depends on the wind speed and the sky condition, but it's possible early on Thursday, which is interesting because we're really going to warm up on Thursday afternoon. Now, let me show you the model output here. This is a chart that we look at. We don't put this on air. It's looking at the RPM data. Just note the wind gust, again, later on tonight. Potential for gusty winds, same thing for tomorrow, and then certainly again as we head into Wednesday, some gusty winds at times will be taking place. And when it comes to cloud cover, notice a mainly cloudy sky until we get into Wednesday, and then we start to see some sunshine break through the area. Wind chills in general, though, in the 40s, maybe some 30s in the morning hours, but mainly 40s that we're talking about for that cool wave for Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, so what's next? Well, this is certainly the big topic here. You're looking at the temperatures aloft here, and we'll start you off with the GFS. Certainly the cold pocket is here Tuesday and Wednesday. It moves out. We warm up briefly. Thursday looks to be the pick of the day. How warm we get will depend on the flow. Right now, usually when we get a southwest flow, we can do pretty good and get well into the 60s. 70s possible, but we'll stop at 60s for now and see how much sunshine we can get, how strong that southwest flow will be Thursday. Here comes the next front, though, dropping in, the one that we've been tracking for a while. As it approaches, the GFS isn't too excited about moisture along the front, mainly because we don't have a perfectly south wind to bring in the moisture like we do this morning. Instead, we've got a very angled west-southwest flow, which is, not coming from an ocean source or a water source, so therefore there's not a lot to work with. And that's where the models are struggling. How much moisture will we have? Because the cold air tries to catch up with it. Right now, it looks like the GFS wants to aim toward the moisture catching up with it once it gets past us in the higher elevations of eastern Kentucky into the Smoky Mountains. But it certainly is a chilly forecast by Friday night and Saturday. It tries to drop down on a couple little vorts around the upper low into our area with some snow showers mixed in with raindrops during the daylight hours, mainly flurries at night. Does the same thing all the way into Sunday into Monday. Not sold on this. It's possible. I don't know how much of a dip that secondary upper low will have. The GFS has a tendency to be very biased on being far south compared to other models, but we'll look at that again on the Euro in just a second. And then even for Halloween, we do have some moderation here, but it brings another system in across the plain states that will likely bring rain and warm weather and likely some snow on the backside of that once it gets further out into the plains, and that push of cold air catches up with it, and that'll be the first weekend in November. We'll be watching that. Overall, the ensembles of GFS do hint at snowfall, mainly from the Friday-Saturday type of event. even if we had flurries, I just don't see anything heavy enough to accumulate. And even that, you got to, of course, battle the obvious: the warm ground, the light rates. Don't get caught up on accumulating snow. I just don't see any sign of that. The setup is not favorable for that. Could we see snowflakes mixed in with rain during the day, or even a few flurries flying around at night if the cold layer is thick enough? Yeah, that I would buy. That I would put on the table as a possibility. But anything accumulating, I don't. I need more convincing, and right now I'm not convinced. Let's look at the Euro. Current cold wave, Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's the warm bubble for Thursday into Friday morning. Crashy temperatures Friday afternoon. Now, here's where the difference is. Euro says there will be some moisture, but notice the angle of the flow on the Euro is a little more off the Gulf of Mexico here. So it's trying to pull in moisture ahead of the front. Again, the angle on the GFS, a little more westerly. The Euro is trying to get a little more moisture off the Gulf. That's going to be the key factor in how much this front will have. Euro then tries to bring in enough cold air catching up with it during the nighttime hours for dynamic cooling to rule out and eventually become an issue where we get some snowflakes mixed in with the rain during the nighttime hours. That is possible, but again, we need to see how much moisture we've got to work with here. And then it overall, it's not aggressive with dropping these little vorts way down in the south like the GFS does. It keeps them very close to the Great Lakes here. Keeping us chilly, even in the Halloween, it's not exactly seeing any type of warm bubble come our way. In fact, it's aiming more toward another northern branch feature dropping in and becoming an issue as we head into the first weekend in November. But they both see something coming in during that time period. We just got to figure out what. Euro ensembles do hint at snowfall. The mean ensemble means come at that. But again, these models sometimes read that. They see the snowfall. They don't always gauge very well the warm ground scenario, the rates, all that other stuff. So I wouldn't get too worked up on that. It's a minor event. But I know anytime we just say flakes, because we want to mention it, because it's a possibility, everyone runs the idea, oh, it's, accumulated snow, blizzard. The first snowflakes this season are always the most stressful. Once we get past that, everybody's okay. The first ones, though, man, people get really worked up. But I'm trying to calm everybody down, but I'm also not going to hide the information from you. If I see something that's a possibility, I'm going to tell you. That's my job. I'm out here to protect you all from keeping information from you. I'm not going to do it. All right, look at the indices here. They all line up for the cold pattern coming our way for later this week, certainly. PNA goes positive. NAO goes negative for a blocking effect there. And as we look at the EPO, going certainly negative. Although it tries to hint at going back toward neutral, if not slightly positive, around the 5th. That was last night's run. The morning run, though, of the Euro is going against that idea and says we're going to keep going here with a negative EPO into November, which would explain why it's going more for the northern branch feature dropping in and not a southern feature like the GFS hints at. So they are not agreeing on how the jet stream pattern is going to evolve as we get into the first week in November. Right now, I bet on the Euro idea. I think it's going to be a colder regime. I think it's going to be a northern branch feature, which is something we'll have to monitor again as we get toward November. Ooh, that's a lot to cover. Here is the extended. There it goes. Whew. Always takes forever to load. The early alert. I've got 50s right now for Halloween. Trick-or-treater likely be in the 40s. We'll see how that system, as we enter the first and second, how quickly we get moisture with that. I may have to push it back to the second and third. I'll fine-tune that. And then I went with a southern branch idea this morning that we could surge into the 70s, but I'm starting to look at more and more ensemble data that came in just after the sun came up, and the more I look at that, the more I'm thinking that's not going to be the case. So I may be changing the earliest alert big time for the 11 o'clock news for midday, so make sure to tune in for that. Have a good day, guys. It's a sloppy one out there. Fix a pot of chili, and enjoy the day.